This is Cat, the Catster, and welcome to the 4th of July weekend slideshow. Here is the old house from the series, and they're putting in this awful stuff in the front there. Here is a ramp that is useless, and I'll just comment on everything as it goes. Yeah, and then a trip to Santa Cruz in a moment here. So yeah, the tape recording of this was a little weird. This one is different, clearly. So we have, yeah, Santa Cruz. Boardwalk, yeah, the doesn't matter that the original was kind of off and screwy. You didn't see that version because the program was doing stuff. That's a Santa Cruz Beach and Boardwalk. Last visited in the On Location Valley Stories series, I believe in 2015 or something like that. So it's been a while. So 10 years about. It might have even been earlier than that. It might have been 2014. But yeah, here's the bus station is a different place now. And that's the beat up sign from the stuff. When they did the Lost Boys, the town doubled as Santa Carla. I'm saying it's cold there. It was cold. That's why there weren't any people yet. It was early. Right up on the beach. Yeah, the rides, the carnival, the whole thing. It's a boardwalk. A lot of it's cement though, and then there's the boardwalk beyond that. So this is a combination of film pictures and also in video pictures. It's not full video; it's video pictures because that was easy to transport and wouldn't have wasted the battery. I didn't have full cameras on the set. Didn't need to. It was on location. I wasn't out to do a full. But it is cool to see this behind the scenes stuff. Some of it does look familiar to fans of movies that have been filmed in Santa Cruz. Lost Boys included. Iconic stuff, including some of these areas that were presented there. They have. I think that in the 90s we actually went to, Jim Buffkin and I actually went to the boardwalk. I think we kind of did. There's Laughing Sally. There's the Pirate Cove little mini golf thing. Yeah, there's a bunch of very familiar looking things in there that are reminiscent of the deal, the whole thing. So yeah, you have Santa Cruz. I didn't do any narration for what I was seeing. A lot of the old school kind of stuff. Dreamt about some of that room, that area. So I knew I had to be there, but I didn't make any discoveries, no epiphanies there. It just looks cool. There was no meeting of any kind of a. Jim wasn't there, of course. I didn't think he would be. Buffkin hasn't been seen for 9 years. Probably not going to see him again. So here we have the 4th of July hat. There's a missing shot from the cinematic Schiller railing. Yeah. Fun stuff. Genuinely advertising things. So, yeah, it's a beach, boardwalk. Fairly dead. So, very, very spooky. Maybe you could do a creepypasta out of this. Bet you could. There's about an hour of footage here from different places. You could do a creepypasta. Probably could. Yeah, just animate the whole thing to get all weird. Yeah. Yeah. We could mess with the line of sight. Do something with that. Oh. But yeah, you have your. Now the way it's filmed here, from the picture vantage point, it almost is like an old school TV shot because it's the pictures. I wonder why it's lingering on that one so much. Odd. Anyway, so Yeah, so we have beach stuff. That's the dock from Lost Boys. There it is. Still there. Part of it blew down there was a tsunami that happened a couple of years ago after COVID. Yeah, kind of messed with it. You can see that there's a lot of seaweed way up in the high tide there. Claw marks left by the original claw mark people back in the 90s. The 90s. Still there. So that part didn't blow down. Still there. Oh, yay, the claw marks. We found them. It was probably more on the other side. But I didn't go on the other side. But yeah, so commenting on the claw marks. Yeah, and this is... Yeah. Actually, I thought that said I hate Indos, which is a term for whoever put that there. I don't know that one. But it probably says something else. But Indos would be funny. That would be like that, surfing term for biffing and crashing into the. That's not what it says. I think it says something racist, actually. So I didn't do that. I don't know who did that. But if it was just like Indo, like wipeouts. Yeah, that's fine. Wipeouts. So yeah, you've pieces of it prepared there in the front. Well then, yeah, it's 3. Well, lots of shots of that. The whole weekend thing was July the 2nd through the 5th. There was later stuff. There really wasn't specifically any kind of a staff meeting with the old church characters. Not really. They kind of just were there. We didn't discuss any of my fan films or anything like that. So yeah, I would say we didn't do that lots of time. I have done a slew of them since then, so that's cool. But yeah, the guests were gone. There was the hotel room. What is it? It looked like a bone. Picture that. Yeah, there was the World Cup was going on, so there was like the only room they had was the room for the disabled person. But a couple of people gave me looks like, "Oh, are you doing the disabled person?" So that's the room the hotel people gave me. So yeah. Yeah, I was responsible for where somebody assigns me a room. So here we have. So it is possible to get to Santa Cruz from up here because I did it, but it's a long haul if you happen to be really, really up north. It's a long haul. But once you're in San Jose, it's way closer. If you're down in San Jose, if you're at Diridon Station, it's an hour-long bus ride over the hill, as we used to call it, the hill. Mount Herman. Yeah, over the hill. Through Scotts Valley. Yes, there was a Scotts Valley joke that won't make sense, so I'm not going to put it on here. They will explain the joke, of course. I could say it. No, I'm not going to. So yeah, there's yeah. I saw Jackass 2, and I saw the Minions movie. It's apparently the 4th Minions movie. So I'm not going to comment on the movies necessarily on here. On the other things, a week earlier was He-Man and then Supergirl. 2 weeks earlier than He-Man and Supergirl. Yeah. So I won't comment much on that. I don't see any reason to do that either way. I know that there's probably fans out there waiting for the rant blog about movies in the summer, but I'm not going to do that. I don't need to do that for all the ranting of the other people. Yeah, so here we are, Santa Cruz. That's from the movie. the cliff area. Yep, by the cliff area. So because it was kind of cold, and it was early, there was actually less muscle daddy dudes, and there were less girls in bikinis than there were in the malls. Because it was kind of dead as it started out. Yeah, there were more of them in the malls than there were in Santa Cruz. On the beach, nobody was. There were some youths that attempted to run out into the waves. Realized moments later, once they got into them, that it was cold. So they immediately ran back out of the water and wade very far in there. When they discovered, no. Well, here's another shot from the movie. There weren't a lot. I was kind of looking for the sights from the various Hollywood movies, but mainly I was just on the boardwalk, along the edge and stuff. They did a lot of, in Hollywood, they just used stuff that's near the thing. Like, when they did Top Gun, they used that one town, Mojave, for all the little shots in the original Top Gun. And there was a hotel that used to be there that's now gone, and all that. And all that stuff is right there. Tom Cruise motorcycle scene, all this right there. Same thing here. All the stuff is right there. Did a lot of the shot. I think the main house, the house thing is gone. The beach house is gone, unless it's just further up the beach somewhere. Maybe the tsunami took it out. But yeah, it looks like the sandbar's been pushed up too from this. So yeah, the beach got kind of fracked. But yeah, so we see the various cinematic sort of stuff, and that's just kind of vacant. Yeah, and we're gonna come up on the pretty soon on people finally showing up, and this is mainly the Santa Cruz thing. It's taking up most of this. Do you have pictures? Yeah, so we were doing Star Trek things and some Transformer things, fan films, doing the Roseville set stuff. Yeah, because there's no assigned schedule or anything. And I could mention other family videos or releases and things, but I'd rather not, because then it encourages the other family members to go, wait a minute, where's that? And yeah, so I'm not going to. Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk, the 100th, I think that's referring to the boardwalk itself. So we took the picture of it. Because the surf shop is 55. So, but that's not. That other store that I went into, that's about 80 years old. Yeah. And there was also talking, discussing the movies that I watched when I was down there, and the different old school, old timey movie thing that would tie into that a little bit. In that there was a Minions thing. It was supposed to be the 1920s, yet they had footage and storylines from the 50s and early 60s in it, throwing things off. It's kind of the case here too. So it's similar, a mixture of other stuff. If it was later, but no, that Minion movie was supposed to take place in 1927. So if it does, then yeah, they wouldn't have references to space and flying saucers yet. It's after 1947. Only way that works is it's later. But yeah, it had to be later, and they were just like reminiscing. Look at the confusing thing about that movie, though. There's something from it. But the confusing thing about that movie, was kids are not going to understand anything 100 years old. They're not. They're not going to care. They want the slapstick and the goofy things running around and flying through here. Now there's a bunch of people that are now appearing. It's a little later in the day. Now that is the end of that, and I think this is okay. This is the video footage. You get to see a little bit of the movement. The camera does that. The phone camera does that. It gives us little snippets of video footage. So now we're watching movement of these things in a weird sort of way. And now there's where you get the creepypasta. Gotta move things around. So yeah, there's you have it looks much different. You have the whole. Let's see. Oh, you could totally do stuff with this. Yeah, at the Sacramento train station, which is not in this. It's all yellow walls going down a big corridor. It's kind of like the back rooms. I didn't see it. I commented somebody on that. The same bus going to the train. Like the back rooms. Yeah. So the Sally thing was animated. That bay window is definitely from a movie. Yes. And that thing too. And I can see what it kind of looks like. You could do stuff with this. Oh yeah. So yeah, you've got yeah, I mean, that's a sign. So yeah, it's not. I don't really need to go over the other elements other than this is what's going on and this is where they're stopping. This is what's zooming around the video. If you could slow that down, or you could see it better. You could do different things with it. Yeah, so you have you have movement things, ideas in you that sort of work overall. You have movement, talking about the claw marks. I did not make them. The only one is the devil cat. We did make that. But the other stuff, no, we didn't do that. Oh, but yes, the one about the Indos is not. That wouldn't make sense. So you have so a little later there's animation. I killed the sound and the audio, even though I don't think at this point there was any music playing. Interesting looking structures there where they rebuilt part of that. The Santa Cruz Bridge had been out for some time. It finally was reestablished, I think 6 months ago. Finally fixed it. And you can see when you go over the past where they fixed the bridge. Redid the whole highway. Different striping on the Jersey barriers and all that. See where they did it. I tried to make the dead man's curve of Santa Cruz a little less of a dead man's curve. A little bit. There's one in Los Angeles as well, but this one is similar. Yes, there's somebody dug a hole. Yeah, probably to bury someone. Yeah, so you can totally do this. Yeah. Yeah. It's the scent. Oh, what's that? Oh no, that's like that. Oh well. Anyway, so yeah, there's the tributary to a river, that creek that's going that way. into the bay. And I thought that I saw people over there, like, hanging out in the tributary, but it wasn't. In the tide pool. It was piping from a distance. It was piping. Nobody was in that. It looks brackish and gross. Nobody would be, the characters from Jackass 4, they would totally go in there. Yeah. The yellow thing could be the edge of that lake house, but I don't think it is. Got Neil's surf shop and the cotton candy. Dan's kids. So there's that was later. And the original surf shop. And there were people from First Press, from back when it was First Press and C3, that moved out to Santa Cruz. I didn't see any of them. Matsumoto's out there. I don't know if they're still out there. They just moved out there. But a long time ago. And we have some seagull birds things. So the whip pants are meant to be something. Santa Cruz boardwalk stuff. Kind of like watching a silent movie. I don't know why they thought that was the Minions movie, where they thought kids are going to get silent movie references, or even early talkie movie references, or references about things that were going on in the 20s, like the vote and stuff. They wouldn't. And then things that are going on in the 50s, like Gort, the parody of Gort. That was a movie, They did what they wanted to do. They did what they wanted to do with their movie as well. I kind of liked the He-Man movie this year. It was okay. I liked the Supergirl movie. It was okay. It was clearly not, supposed to be. It wasn't supposed to be like the Snyder Bro stuff. The Snyder Bro people are complaining because it's making fun of them and subverting their expectations. I say, yeah. Frozen Pictures. Doing all of my Eastridge. All right, we're going to leave that. Even though I went to San Jose State right after Santa Cruz because it was on the way, Evergreen was technically... Well, I went to Pine Hill and the Evergreen and then San Jose State on the third day. So, there's going to be reference to that. But I think that's Eastridge. That's what that was. So it's a little out of order just because Pine Hill and then Evergreen, San Jose State, were in that order. Even though when they were filmed, the filming schedule was Pine Hill, San Jose State was closer than Evergreen because of the way you were going back from the hill down into San Jose. Across San Jose and then back. You're going east and then you go South San Jose first because that's right there. Then you want to go east, but in order to get east, you got to go to downtown San Jose, so you might as well go to San Jose State first. So here we are at Pine Hill, Cambriana Plaza. Cambriana was a town that was swallowed up by San Jose in the Camden Town District. And then we're on location at Pine Hill, which is on location, and it's now a Casa de Mur Montessori school. They've kept the main building, and they've built the apartments around it, which we'll see in a minute. So, Pine Hill location began in '83. In my seventh grade, second half of seventh grade. Here is the Carl's Jr., which burnt down 2 years ago. It's been sitting there abandoned. They want to build a bunch of apartments in that tiny little lot over there. I'm not sure how they're going to put a bunch of apartments in the tiny lot unless they make them a little tall. Across the street is their little Cambriana secondary mall, added on to the other one. And that used to be Valley Christian, the rival school. That was Valley Christian. Now I'm over at Valley Christian. The Pete's Coffee. So even though that's a thumb in the way, it's fine. Not worry about that. So you have, you have there used to be the back entrance to Valley Christian. There was a fence, brick fence, and they were going there. They turned it into a mall. It's funny. And they have a Five Guys and a Crumble and a bunch of stuff. It's the more popular of the two malls. The other one's clearly dead. The strip mall is open. And upon mentioning it's a strip mall years ago, a couple of silly people, they were like, strip mall, ooh. No, not that kind of, no, not stripper mall. No, that would be the one in Milpitas with a 365 massage. That would be it's not. It's not. It's not the kind of massage. Anyway, so that's. But no. So here we have Carl's Jr. over there, and it's decimated. We'll go over there and check it out. And here is the Carl's Jr. sign. You can't read it. Yeah, they want to build a high-res apartment right there. That's just weird. But they were going to do that to the Pine Hill too, and they ended up not doing that. Well, they kept it because, in the time of Star Trek: The Next Generation, they have to have a reference for when they go back in time, and Q, it's Picard, and Q, and Kirk's time as well. And they come and get us as children and hang out with us. Because that should happen to us and us only. Carl's Jr. And here we have, Carl's Jr. was legendary. There used to be a sidewalk out there, and they were fixing it, and we put a little marks in the sidewalk. They tore that up in 1990 or so that was gone. Carl's Jr. was there until a couple of years ago. There's a guy named Karate Carl that was out there. They called him Karate Carl, but it's Peter Rossman. It's Jill's brother. That's who it is. And he's out there doing the karate moves and stuff. We saw him in an episode On Location, previous to Missions. I believe it was On Location. He was out there doing it. I don't know if he died or left, but there was a memorial. Here's the memorial to, I guess, the Carl's Jr. done up by more current students from I guess the Montessori. No, they're 11th graders. Put up this thing on the sign, memorializing just a nearby high school from near Pine Hill. Pine Hill's not a high school anymore, so it must have been Gunn or one of the other schools near there. And yeah, so there it is. There's their memorial. So Karate Carl Memorial. I don't think he's gone. I think he just went somewhere else. But yeah, I've gone into the Carl's Jr. when it was still there a couple of years ago, and several years ago now. And there he's doing his thing. I walk in there, and there's Mrs. Rossman still working there. Love it, she's still working there. Yeah, she kind of recognized me, but I have less hair. I figured it out. I did like the whole thing from the whole thing, a spiel from Pine Hill. Then she remembered. And then she thought, oh, you're Adam from Kitchen Pine Hill. Yeah, not John Kern. Okay, but yeah, so that was funny. Many years ago. And then the Carl's Jr. burnt down like 2 years ago. Come around the corner, and here we am to Pine Hill. And it had, I don't know if it was a insurance thing or something that burnt it down. I don't know. I have no idea. So they took out the play area and stuff. They were going to make a lot there. So, section it off and keep the main school in the middle. It was a summer camp that was closed at that point. So it wasn't weird that it was there. There was no one there. There were occasionally a car. And they explained what I was doing. And they didn't. They literally said, we don't care that you're here. That was kind of funny. Oh, yeah. Another one. Oh, yeah. One of them said, oh, it was another Pine Hill kid. Oh, yeah. Who was the last one here? Who? Tim. Oh, Tim was just here. Oh, man. Just missed him. I had to text him later. Oh, Tim. Well, yeah, so, yes, I said Montessori. And dance thing, another thing. The building looks renovated. There's some weed patches growing there. Yeah. And we have the big message. I'm going to turn that off. And now, we're going to continue. Not going to stop. All right, so here we have. There was the old office. You go in there, and now the office is over by. There was a kid quad on one side, teen quad on the other side. That's the gymnasium window. There used to be a big tree that fell through the window in the 80s. but yeah, there was a. They've trimmed it back quite a lot. Yeah. So. There's the classic dumpsters where they were gonna. One of the mean girls was gonna throw another mean girl in the dumpster. Never did. Like that. But yeah, there was a bunch of characters that don't need to be gone into at all, but we won't. But yeah, there's it's interesting. The old high school, junior high and high school there. That's the teen quad there, the entrance. Big gates. They put an even bigger gate up on there. Don't want any of the chillins to escape. So you have. I did not see Tim there. I heard that somebody named Tim there earlier. It was probably him. Oh, it's just there. But yeah, there's the flagpole that they hung a doll in effigy of one of the teachers, and it was originally A.L. Metzler finishing, which is mentioned later on the video, but I cut the sound down, and then it became it was A.L. Metzler by the Native Sons of the Golden West in the 50s, 58. And then in 83, it was bought by the Second Start Pine Hill people, which I'm sure I'm going to go into on the video that's changed. It's all good right now. No. And 83 was Pine Hill. And it stayed Pine Hill until 1990. The last class that operated there was 91. Then they moved to Andover. I did not know they moved to Andover when I started the fictional adventures version of On Location. I just put them in Pine Hill. They weren't actually there. So I closed the whole timeline off. But the On Location with Star Trek, that started at Pine Hill. Silly Trek started at Pine Hill. All that stuff started. Yeah. There's the edge of the bottom part of the Josh Browne tree should be right there. Darkly ahead. Yeah. I think it's another tree. I think they replanted it. It's actually gone. So the Star Trek one is inaccurate. Anyway, so isn't it? So yeah, you have what's the deal? Yeah, you've got nobody around, no nothing going down. And it used to be that was Pine Hill. It's done up kind of boring gray color they put on everything. Yeah, so there's a little bit of that there. Yeah, so. It's almost charming the way you framed that kind of very bright outfit. I figured if I wore the bright firecracker outfit the whole time, somebody's blog somewhere, probably at the Great Mall, I was wearing the same outfit. Probably at Santa Cruz as well. Firecracker guy with a weird 4th of July hat walking around. That's me. Just so you know. Ha ha, Cowcatster. Still trying to be famous. Get another fame. There's some weed. But it's not what you think. Yeah. Haven't been growing weed. Okay. Yeah. But yeah, so there's that. Yeah, you got Pine Hill. You got Pine Hill with it was 1984 to 1989 when I was there. The middle of 84 to graduated early from Pine Hill, but probably should have stayed to get the senior year. Academics were not great. Didn't know the math stuff. So I was at Evergreen Junior College for 5 years. Not uncommon for someone to do that, struggles with that. And then San Jose State for another 4. So I was the equivalent of getting like a doctorate in something, even though it just seems like it. It was 90, but I wasn't getting a doctorate. I was at general studies English, it was just the equivalent of 9 years. It's like What are you doing today? Going all the way up there. But yeah, now we're gonna see some of the video. It looks like the video. The new fresh shoes. That great mall. Oh, this is just a little bit about the shoes. The shoe box. I left it behind. Went to see Jackass. Came back, and nobody touched the shoe box. So I took it back. It's funny. Here we are with the video back at the mall. I'm gonna make a creepypasta out of this as well. Yes. So here we have the Cambrian Plaza again, and several of the things. Yeah. And originally trying to put this in the video thing, the thing program expanded it to a ridiculous level. It didn't need to be done like that. That was just, what was it doing? Yeah, it doesn't need to be that. Yeah. So yeah, you've got. It was screw up. Yeah. Okay, Valley Christian was supposed to be the rival school. They didn't really have sports teams. If they did, Tim would have been on the fullback guard football team. but yeah, Reagan, Scott, Boyd, and that's Scott Boyd wasn't there. Scott Summers. And I got to name all these silly names, and then I realized, wait a minute, why am I naming names that people you don't have any idea who they are? Bunch of Pine Hill people mentioned. Of course, Mark's cards, John Yeager as well. Because the Carl's Jr. that got like trashed. And then the ads for the they called him Karate Carl, but no, it was Peter. That's who it was. It was named after the Carl's Jr. that he was next to, but that wasn't who he was. It's Karate Pete. That's who he was. I knew who he was. But yeah. Because he was just a little after us. Just not enough to know. That's what that was. Well, they can call him Karate Carl if they want to. But, yeah. Weird little canister thing. Of course, that's a modern poetry. It's not a poem, it's prose. Which I took poetry classes at Evergreen as well. It's like, that's prose. If there's no rhyming in it, it's prose. It's like a rap song with no rhyming in it. That's also prose. It's a form of alliteration, but it has to have a rhyme to be a poem. Yeah, so it's a form of prose. It's different. This poetry book, thing. It's like it's not poetry. It's not poetry. It's called free verse, they say, but it's prose. Yeah, you're telling a story, a prose theme. Prose. So we got some very interesting. Yeah, the way the summer camp. Yeah. It's almost creepypasta right now. There's a lot. I left that. Bus station is now 61. There was a groundskeeper. He said, I don't care. I think I said, the guy named Tim was here. I don't know if it was the Tim, because there were 2 or 3 other Tims out there. It probably was, just because that makes sense. He'd be the only one like, oh, is your party over Tim? Oh. Yeah. That probably makes sense. It could have been the other guy. Could have been one of the Hummel boys or something. But yeah, could have been anybody. But yeah, it could have been Tim Nielsen. There was another Tim. There's at least 2 other Tims. It could have been. Yeah. And there's the apartments they built on the other side. Back to the story. I still have dreams about teaching there, even though I've never taught there. Which is weird. Yeah, it's like the original Pine Hill cast is like, I'm talking about having become the Casa de Mir now and the other stuff. Yeah, it's like the original Minions, and we were the Minions before those little Minions characters. It's totally connected. Because back in the day, that was the name of our gang. Our gangs, the Minions. The Minions of either Andrew Tyson or of Jim Buffkin. And then later James Cantrell. Currently it's John. So, so the Minions. Right. No relation to the little orange Tic Tac guys. And yeah, there's a flagpole. There's a little thing. So yeah, you have, yeah, and we contemplated in several of the stories and dreams right there. Yeah, there's that sign used to say A.L. Metzler Normal High School in '58, and then it said Pine Hill School next to it for many years. So I could start Pine Hill School, and Pine Hill School separated, became other things, and yeah, so that's what happened. And it became other things, and it's on Foxworthy now. And now just about any special school Montessori is a Pine Hill. So there's one at my old grammar school, Murphy, is now a Montessori like that. I think it's the same. It used to be, yeah, I think it's something like that. It was Rainbow Bridge for a while. I think it is them. Same people, so they have Murphy. But yeah, the Minions saying what they're going to do in the future, and and you know what Angie Tyson was going to. Angie was going to be a rock star or something, a homemaker that ended up the homemaker. John didn't know what he wanted to be. He didn't directly meet with Angie that day. I don't know what I'm going to do. Tim would probably be a coach. We thought he'd be a coach. One of the coaches. And Jim Buffkin said, I don't want to have anything to do with Pine Hill. I'm going to leave. No Pine Hill. And so he didn't want to be a Pine Hill. And so he's probably going to be a bus person or a crazy cat lady. Well, it turns out I'm the crazy cat lady. But, but yeah. And Adam would probably teach at Pine Hill. Go back and teach at Pine Hill. Yeah, that was the thing. I was going to end up teaching at Pine Hill. I didn't end up teaching at Pine Hill. It was Sunday School Shepherd, which is very similar. That's what I was doing. Yeah. Teaching at Pine Hill. On the primary side, if I was at Pine Hill, I'd be in the primary side. I'd be like 5th and 6th grade guys, I guess. Because that's what I was at Sunday school. Yeah, I'd be on the primary side. I wouldn't be on the high school side. It's kind of funny. So I'd essentially be, yeah, and instead of being like Joyce Palmer, the counselor lady from the classic era, I would have been Sue Blake. A little weird. Okay. And only you would know that joke, because Susan Blake was grade school. One of them. There are all these names you wouldn't know. That doesn't matter. But Joyce Palmer passed away many years ago. About 20 years ago. A little less than 20 years ago. Yeah. All those people, I think most of those people are dead. Betty Seymour passed away in the 2010s, somewhere around there. Now we're at Evergreen. Jumped over to Evergreen, even though Evergreen was technically the third stop. I made it the second. I put it in order in here just to be there. It's completely different. They've changed the middle and sides to accommodate a massive earthquake fault that runs through the middle of the school. On the Alum Rock Fault. So, yeah. And they moved the library over. March Cards walked through a lot of the new stuff. He walks through it, FaceTime things to go somewhere weird. Goes to Evergreen. Stops there and he's like, I'm walking through Evergreen. And here we're trying. This is a library bookstore thing and whatever. And there's a theater building. These buildings have never been photographed in any of my fan films, but we got it right for the Starship locations because of Google Earth and Google searches, and we got it right, which was the Google version. That's how we cheated that. But now I have photo footage of Pine Hill and Evergreen, and now it would look like in 2026. And the interesting thing about and they have a team now. They have a ball team apparently, the Hawks. They didn't have one before like that. That's an educational building they set up, and so story is that that's what that building is up there, and so we have these walls and things, very reminiscent of the Trans-Tech sets, the trans sets and stuff like that. Very reminiscent of what Tim Cantrell was drawing in his drawings. The buildings look like enough like the drawings with the added caveat thing. I'm sure he had nothing to do with designing the buildings and repainting some of those older ones like Cedro. And I think they tore down Roble. It's gone. And they tore down the main learning center, split it in half because of the earthquake fault. And they put the other student center on the other side, and they moved the library. So I think the library's in the same place. No, it's not. They moved it. They split it into 3 different buildings and split it out. There's a secret. So back in the day, that's the art building. It used to be the art building. And back in the day, 1990, we were in art class, Dr. Swolner's art class, and this snooty art lady, the art people are generally snooty anyway, comes in, and she critiques everybody, like riffing on everybody's art. And Tim is very simplistic, postmodern simplistic. If it looks like a shape, I like it, which is that's a form of art. It is. If you can make shapes, that's a form of art. Colors here and there splashed on. And as you walk through these building pictures, like, he was just ahead of the curve. And I texted him about that. I said, I just went to Evergreen, and your artwork's all over the walls, and the buildings, and the architecture. And that art lady is full of crap. They criticizing your stuff. Because it's all over Evergreen. The whole school. Yeah, no. Yeah. 30 years. Yeah. Oh. Just took 30 years for it to ferment. Oh. It did. It took 30 years to ferment. That's now it looks like his artwork. You go to Evergreen and it looks like a Trans-Tech set because it took that art there. Because I'm a little bit better with them. Because I'm better with form and scale and stuff, and turning brutalist into modern and that kind of thing. I can make it look realistic. I've always been able to make it look realistic. So the Trans-Tech sets, the other sets and stuff, this is a writ large modern version of that, and that's so awesome. You can actually walk up to it and go like, oh, Starfleet Academy stuff. That's so cool. You just go in there and go like, oh, this building cuts right, the fault line goes right past that arch, that building. That's the new Student Union building. And yeah, and there's part of the edge of the fault line there. So if they get another Loma Prieta 89, it's going to go. The building is going to go to the ground. A very, very Starfleet looking structure. Pretty cool. Also, I like that one of the buildings kind of resembles the Evergreen Flyer ship. It's parked on the side. And of course it is. And we go on to San Jose, the Eastridge. Little odd place. Eastridge was dead. Nobody there. So the Evergreen Adventure in San Jose State, Pine Hill, Evergreen, San Jose State was July 4th. So now we're going to that. And so, it goes on to the Eastridge stuff. The Eastridge is dead. Great Mall was not dead. I didn't do much filming in the Great Mall. Well, there's Eastridge, the common mall from the series. Also done in the Tim style too, updated from the 70s and 80s to make it look more like later on. Yeah, so he didn't have anything to do with the artwork. It's just a weird coincidence that all the current stuff looks like it. That's what I meant. Yeah, he's not famous for doing modern architecture in the 21st century. It's just that he was ahead of the curve. So here we come to the video live action. You kind of see some of that. There's the ship. Briefly, the ship. The flyer's literally parked right there, just right out of the story. There it is over there. On the left, there it is. So there's the flyer. an actual writ large, the flyer. It's parked right there. Um, that's so cool. It's like, oh, yeah, that's from Starship Locations. And the Hawks. Yeah. That's funny. So we're seeing some of those same buildings again, the artwork. And the snooty art lady who's probably long dead. I mean, heck, it's been 35 years. She's probably dead. But yeah, the claw marks on the wall. Come on, that's a Cal Cat thing, right? That's Transtech. That wall is an homage to Transtech. The first one from 20. Well, a video version was 2007 or so. 2002, 2007. Then 2009 with the sequels, and then it went on YouTube as of 2014. So when they did all of Evergreen, it's probably Osmosis, the architect that redid Evergreen here, probably watched Transtech and he's like, oh, that looks cool, I'll just do that. So that's probably what happened. That's probably exactly what happened. And one of the professors was a blind lady, Mrs. Schwallner, I think. Yeah, blind lady, and something or other. What was her name? Anyway, the blind lady. And a certain gate and everything to her. There's a lady there. I forget. Susan Shelter, that was her name. Shelter. Mrs. Shelter. And at one point, before the pandemic, I saw, at some point, 10 years ago, yeah. It was a little before the pandemic. I saw her at the Target store at one point. Walked up. She was all old. Because it was years later. I was like, oh, Mrs. Shelter. She's all like, she recognized my voice. She's like, ah, Mr. Adam. Yes. Ah. How long has it been? Well, at that point, about 20 years. Oh. And then that was the last of that. And also before that, around the same time, in the 20, there's less video of this one for some reason. And so the last one saw an ex-girlfriend from the Pine Hill era at the shortly after talking to Jim Buffkin way back in the day in 2017. 3 years later, the pandemic time, before the pandemic, I'm going to go into the CVS that later Mark Scards and I frequented earlier and later. And they're San Jose State now. Anyway, the girl, so it's San Jose State, they're also very Starfleet Academy looking. But the girl, she was there, and it was funny. She's all older and now a grandma. It's funny. And so there was there was an old Asian man. We were flirting around and stuff. That old Asian man, probably just a little older than us. But yeah, he was all like, "Oh, you know each other from somewhere." I was like, she's all, "Yeah, he used to make out with me in high school for like a week." That was kind of funny. Yep. But you're probably married now and have kids. So. Oh, grandkids. You're not. I see you don't have a ring on your finger. I said, nope, I'm not married. Never did that. Yes, that's supposed to be like an Aztec Mayan eagle thing. That's a nice story. But it looks like something else. It's the Iron Eagle of the people. I'm sure now the fountain's working though. That's San Jose State. And yeah, I thought I'd mention the girl's story just because why not have filler well, not filler, but why not have a story? And here we have the ugly new student union building at San Jose State, which resembles the edge of the Josh Bourne starship, the Vanguard from Vanguard. Why not? We're going to come up on the back of the student union building, in the claim to fame of the other buildings over there, and there's the Josh pose next to there is the Red Angel building. I keep mentioning that. That is the name of the art building at San Jose State. It was that before Star Trek Discovery was even a gleam in their eyes. The Red Angel building. Yes, that's what it was called. Because it has wings. There's two wings that go out. It's red. Yep, the Red Angel building. That's what it is. I don't know if the current generation calls it that, but that's what we called it. They probably don't. The Red Angel building. Somebody having a barbecue. Yeah, that's what we used to call it. Yeah. But yeah, then they have some of the other buildings off to the side. Had a wacky class in there. The architecture is postmodern connected to brutalist over there. The student union is the brutalist thing. Not to be confused with the movie The Brutalist, of which the counselor's husband guy at that school, that church, tried to recommend the movie, but then 2 hours later was told by his wife Patricia, who discovered the autism thing actually, don't recommend that movie to Adam. Don't. Warn him not to see it now. And so he had to like text me like, no, don't see it. And I said a week later, I was like, don't worry, I'm not going to go see it. It's not my thing. I don't really watch architecture movies about depressing architecture movies where artist gets his style stolen. I don't watch that kind of stuff. Except that now, I would say that the MLK libraries, that's all. Actually, the top of that tower got ripped off. The 1906 earthquake, the top of the tower. That's why it looks funky. A little bit funky is that there was actually an extra floor up there. But after the 1906 earthquake, it went psh, and it came down. So they just cut the floor off and put a roof on top of it. That's why it looks weird. It looks a little like a castle. Because they took one floor off. Yeah, true story, go look it up. Also, San Jose State was a normal school. And it was associated, it was a normal school, like a teaching school. And it was associated with A.L. Metzler down the street. Down the road. Another normal school training people. So it was a normal school, which meant they were training teachers. So there'd be like Pine Hill had these weird little kitchens, little kitchenettes and refrigerators and a little closet and little training area in each classroom. I thought that was kind of odd because usually classrooms don't have those. But because it was a normal school, it did at one point. So they just left the stuff in and said, oh, it's a little refrigerator. Okay. Some of the older buildings are there on the campus, including the tower being the oldest one. And here we have some of the other stuff at San Jose State. Evergreen was 1989 to 1994, and it was an associate arts degree in humanities. Associate's degree. At San Jose State, it was English. Associate's degree in English. It was script writing, stuff like that, story, note taking, stuff like that. Learning how to type, all that stuff. Yes, learn how to type. If you're going to be a novelist, learn how to type. You really should know how to type. That was one of the questions. So now we're back at the beginning of the thing, and you have the video motion of all this, some newer buildings, and so the premise, the whole San Jose was kind of dead because there's no one there right now, but the San Jose State was from 1994 to 1998, and then we went back 2006 to 2008, and then briefly in 2011, grad school. 2011, one semester of grad school ended abruptly because we ran out of funds. Couldn't go any further. Dad had passed away 2 years earlier, and it just wasn't going to happen. There was one semester of grad school. So I did not become a professor at San Jose State. Now here's the art building. Talking about this other thing, does that mean that the other timeline that Riker and them encountered in Fish Out of Water is a separate timeline? It's got to be. But they still encountered us. But yes, there's the Ray Angel building. In Star Trek Discovery, it's a person with a spacesuit, which is stupid. It's a building. It's like a red star building. It's it's named after Proxima, the star. It's red. M-type star. And all that. The building is actually the art department. It's not art and design department. But and here we have you get to see the architecture around the corner and the brutalist building, because they just kind of tore something off and just put around it. The old student union building is the older thing. And yeah, and we were joking well, only half joking that the VBS dare from the VBS then to earn money for the SPCA. The we got to go up on the stage at the church and do the thing like 2 weeks ago, and yeah, because Mrs. Dewick was inspiration for Vod Dewick from Silly Starship Locations was there. She didn't want to do the eating the dog food dare at the end because they earned the money. They earned the money and they're going to do the dare. And she's like, I don't want to do that. You do it. So I'll do it. I like doing stuff that's like jackass. So I'll do it. Just so it's not that much of a stunt. I'm going to eat dog food. And so yeah, I knew I was going to do it. But a week before, the day before, she chickened out. I knew I was going to do it. So I was going to do it. And ate the dog food. The dog food. I tasted it really. And then blah. But yes, other people ate it a little bit. And dog chow. And so we joked that, it kind of tasted like the cafeteria chili that one time. Mark's card said, yeah, it kind of, yeah. And then he made a joke about, like, John, I made a joke that he's going to serve up an actual pet. No. Anyway, so there's that in here. I decided to take pictures of there's a pet place because there was these kitty cats that got adopted because they were in the front yard of the house that was being sold, renovated but not sold yet, and some of them were there at the pet store. But yeah, they were taken in by two families from the church that took them in, and there was an update on one of the kittens. Apparently, it had decided to use the girls' bedroom as his new litter box, which is not pleasant. Well, they got to train him. He doesn't know what he's doing as a kitten. Exactly. So yeah, that's gross. It's a kitten who's like not even 2 months old. So you train him. Yeah. I don't even think it's a month old. I mean, those cats in that bay were a little older. Maybe about a month old. A month and a half, maybe 2 months. Okay, no fireworks stuff. Kind of green fireworks stuff. And you have your so there were these kitty cats on front of the house. And then they were gone, and then they were the wood pile. And then they were gone the next week because they keep going back every other 3 weeks. All through June and July, we kept going back. So, off and on. So, yeah, we had but the last time, during the BBS, they took away the wood pile and the cats were gone. And we're going down the street to this other house down the street, townhouses, and there's a mother cat. She's just sunning herself into the shade of the house. And it was one of the kids' houses down on townhouses. They took in the mother cat and the kittens, and they were off to the side. The mother cat was like, it was a mama cat. And I said, then I texted Mr. Story and John on Mark's cards. And I said, I just saw the mama cat. Apparently the neighbors heard their pleas for rescuing the kitties, and they rescued them. And they are living at this person's house. Or at least some of them. The mother cat and at least one of them. And apparently, but the other one that I heard about is living up in the foothills. Yeah. The other one's in the foothills. The one that used the bedroom as a litter box. That's up in the foothills of the house of the Milpitas. And that one I won't say where, but it's the foothills. And they're up there at their ranch, and they're alone. The house. And yeah, like, yeah, my kitty from so making messes. Little guy. I wonder what they named it. Probably socks. Anyway, so yeah, that's fun. So, ooh, burp. So we're going along this lovely thing that probably will make a splendiferous messed up video later on. Especially if you keep the line of sight splendor too late, right around the middle of it. Stretch it out. You'll see all kinds of weird shit. Yeah, cool. Well, it's like that. So overexposed. It kind of looks like I beamed in on a laser beam there. There's a house. A classic house. Yeah, visited by the neighbor, the Sparman guy, who gave on a big old lecture about like stuff he didn't know anything about, basically. He thinks he knows everything. Mrs. Napolitano fell and hurt herself, but she wasn't, not at the time, but earlier. And so she wasn't there to come out of the house and go, knock it off, Mr. Sparman. The guy, it was funny. Yeah, she shut him up that one time. There was one time she shut him up. Basically did that all. I knew you were in diapers. Yeah, when some 90-year-old lady says something like that to you, that's the end of the comfort. That's the end of the rant right there. I changed your diaper back in the day, boy. He's all like, oh shit. Oh, yeah. You made an awful mess all over the house. Yeah. No, on the way back, Now we're gonna see some. I don't know if that's entirely what she said at the time, but it's kind of funny. She kind of said something similar. So yeah, then we cut to the video of the other thing, of the animated kitties. Animated kitty. Meow. That does look like one of those kittens. And that kitten's about 2 months old, so maybe that's right. Yeah. So one of them is at the, one or two of them are over at the mini cat town to be adopted. That may be right. It has been 2 weeks since VBS, right? Yeah. A little over 2 weeks since then. But yeah, so yeah, this one doesn't have as, yeah, there was much video in that one. But over the fireworks. Yeah, that one didn't have extra video for some reason. She may just said to turn it off, I guess. Pew, bzz. Yeah, I could have waited until later, but I didn't. So yeah, 250th birthday of the country, and if the country still survives 251, we'll see. And what's ironic is most of that stuff that was for sale for the 4th of July was made in China. Brazil won in Mexico, didn't, in terms of the football, the soccer game. But yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, you are watching the slideshow of the thing, and yeah, talked about other people and characters that you don't know about, and it doesn't really matter. Then that's fine. They're not going to see this and go like, "Oh my God, my name was mentioned." No, they're not going to. They're just not going to do it. Yeah, so, yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm all, kitty memes, kitty,